One of my original characters, one of the characters I'm most known for. We're going to play some games with Val, who I consider to be the best sword in Brawlhalla. So Val is a character that I think will always stand the test of time. Val just overall is built so well when it comes to stats, when it comes to like the weapon sig kit. The design alone is enough to make her fine. Like she'll never truly be really bad. Like they would actually have to change the design and ways of how her sigs work. I mean, right there alone, there's two variations of a side sig. It's not even using, the grounded one, which I just did right there. Like that's already crazy. Usually characters only have 3 sigs. Well, Val, she has 5. And to be fair, like this sig, it does decent damage. It does like 30 plus damage, I think, but it's just weird. It doesn't really kill. It's just kind of like a cool looking taunt more than anything. That's how I treat it, at least. I never used a D-Sig on Val. And that's fine because, the 3 variations of the side SIGs and also this end SIG is just unfair. Like they're really crazy. And I think that's what makes Val the best sword alone. Also the stat spread, if you wanted to. Now I play strength stance on Val. That's kind of what I've always done. I need to really expand I guess my stances more on the character because playing the defense stance actually makes her have, I believe, 7 defense, which is kind of crazy because then that leaves her at 4-4-7-7, which is wild because on gauntlets you're not going to feel the dex at all. On sword, I notice it a little bit. I play a lot of gauntlets and sword, and I think gauntlets are the weapon that are least affected by dex. But sword, you might notice it a little bit, but I think it's pretty easy to get used to, especially if you play like Jaehyun. It's so good, man. It's really hard to like explain how good this character is, and I understand people might disagree with Val being the best sword a little bit, but it's just the proof is there. The proof is in the pudding. Just play the character, and I think once you take a couple N6s or once you hit a couple N6s, you'll understand. Also, the gauntlets aren't too shabby either. I mean, if we're going to talk about why overall I think she's the best sword right now, the gauntlets as well, I think, have a very strong like kit. They all do something differently. I really like the gauntlet kit. She might be my favorite gauntlet kit in the game. Don't tell Shang that, but yeah, it's pretty wild what you can do. I mean, she's good in 1, she's good in 2s. She can just do it all, right? Sigs that kill, stats that are amazing. It's not just like one thing. It's not like, oh, Koji's up there, for example, or let's say Jaehyun even. I know a lot of people are the hype of Jaehyun. When you get down to Jaehyun has good stats. He has great sword too, right? But the big thing that makes that character, I guess considered to be really good is that side sig on sword, or at least if we're looking at the sword kit. The side sig on sword does so much, but that's really it. I think other than that, it's a lot to do with great sword. And Val overall, I mean, better stats. Like I said, better stats, better sigs overall. It's just hard to beat. Character is very hard to beat right now in the current meta for a lot of reasons. Now, we'll see with gauntlets probably getting nerfed. I doubt they'll get hit too hard. I mean, they're not going to... I'll say this right now. I highly doubt they're going to nerf Val in any capacity. Right there. I love this character so much. Val will always be a character I have, like, on deck for sure. Probably, like, if anything, this is probably the character, like, for me, which is kind of weird because I tend to not practice this character at all. I always bother with a bunch of other characters, so maybe I'll return to my roots and play this character more. Her and Lucian have always been my go-to, but we'll see. Like I said, I always have Val kind of at the ready because, I don't know, just so good, man. Like, that, doing Dare to that sig, really good. Also, certain maps, like Shipwreck, not Miami Dome. What's the map called? Demon Island. Shipwreck, Demon Island, and then Crystal Temple are pretty dangerous when you're playing against a Val. Or if you're playing a Val, you kind of want to leave those maps open in 1s and 2s because those maps have no edge whatsoever. And given she has such a free edge guarding tool, it's incredible. The one thing I will say that's weird, though, and this doesn't really have to do... I guess it does a little bit, but no one's playing Val really at, like... Or there hasn't been a... Like, it's not like Val is the go-to character, right? Val isn't the character everyone's going to play, to, like, win tournaments with. It's just a very select few people, or it feels like it for the most part, in high level. I mean, there's a lot of good characters. I understand everyone has their own taste and whatnot, but, like, we've seen, I mean, back in the day, Egg Soup, Pugsy, Addy Mystic has stood the test of time with Val. I, at this point, might as well say I kind of have as well. I mean, Val is probably my most successful legend overall. That or Hattori. It's one of the two, or Shang. But it's a weird thought for sure. And yeah, I'm surprised more people aren't playing it. More sword players aren't taking advantage of the fact that gauntlets are really good right now, and that Val has just like one of the best sword kits. A lot of times I feel like you see them playing, you know, Jay on, just not Val. I'll say that. That's easier to say because there's so many sword legends nowadays. I mean, they're not playing Jiro. I will say that for sure. Jiro's just... Jiro's some cheeks, man. I don't know what else to tell you guys. That character's doomed. They buffed his SIGs. He's, like, not bad, but he's just annoying. Like, his SIGs don't feel right to use whatsoever. Like, they really do feel bad overall. And now that his SIGs have a lot of force, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel like a 4 force legend, or 4 strength legend, excuse me, with whatever, how much dex he has. All right, you know what? I'm going to try read. I don't do a lot of, like, SIG reads, but there you go. There's one. That's actually a pretty good one. Oh, yeah, Ethan, too. My bad. I won't forget to leave out, or to mention Ethan. Ethan, also North American Val player. Basically, me and him kind of carry the torch for the most part. I'm probably forgetting someone, and if I am, my bad. But those are the ones that came to mind overall. Oh, what are you gonna do? Nope. Okay, where's he going? Like, that essentially forced him to use a dodge, because if he didn't, he would have just eaten that alive. Okay, that's sick though. Val might be the best sword, but that character is just it's something else, dude. I think even Egg put Val in his like SS tier or something like that when we did the tier list. I don't remember how his tier list went. It was so late for me when we did that. But yeah, he's not wrong. Val is 100% one of the strongest legends in the game right now. I'm just curious to see how it like holds up. All right, come on, let's get a little gauntlet action. Really? You really just dared me into that. All right. Oh yeah, by the way, I also got a couple projects in the works that are looking pretty juicy, if I do say so myself. I got shown like a draft of one thing. It's like halfway done. That should be, I'm telling you guys right now, I think it's gonna be the best content on my channel for a while. I'm glad to be working with a guy. I'm not gonna say who it is yet. I feel like I've alluded to this before, but not mentioning who it is yet. But it's going to be sick, I promise. And hopefully it can come out maybe first week of January if I can manage to get everything ready for him. I don't know how I forgot to mention this, but Val also has one of the best crossovers in the game in Stevani. I'm not a huge like Steven Universe fan, and I don't really like how the skin looks too much, so I don't use it. I like this skin. I like the hard suit Val. I rock with the classics. You know, maybe if I do bring Val back, like, or I know Val's like my go-to character, then it'll be a little bit different. Oh wow, Gauntlet Nair is broken. That was sad to see, but maybe I'll bring it back, or maybe I'll use it. And when I do, yeah, that character, I mean, the side stick, you go invisible with the side stick. I don't know what else I have to say other than that. Like, that alone is actually just a better version of Val. Like, it's just weird to me. Like, why? Why would you ever want a character to go invisible during a move? Like, I get, you know, the crossover isn't meant to be balanced. That's not like a focus. It's not like, oh, well, in competitive play, this is going to be really, really broken. No, it's not. They don't look at that. That's definitely not their first priority. But it is. It is what it is. I doubt they'll ever change that, though. And thank goodness, though. I guess it goes back to, like, wow, no one's playing this legend. And that makes me very happy. Because if they were, dude, they would be rocking that skin a lot more than welcomed. Okay. I'm saying this right now. Ragnar's going to be one of the best characters going into 2021. The Axe kit, he hits so hard. And also Katars are really good. If they buff Axe in any capacity, it's going to be wild. Also, if they nerf like counters to Axe, like gauntlets, if gauntlets get hit, it's going to be wild. All right. There's that. Easy. This is how, honestly, to me, this is how Jiro should like have his Ensig be. Just like one little burst up in the air, right? Like, he has all that dex, and it feels like it really is meaningless. I mean, the Scythe feels good to play, but the only thing you're really overall getting, like a legitimate benefit, aside from like it feeling smoother, which it does for sure, you can tell with the higher decks, is the fact that he gets like a true combo, but that's dependent on a few variables. I think defense, I don't know if like the setup of it matters too much, but yeah. All right, I messed that up. See, like even when I messed it up, it doesn't matter because I can just rip it again. It's so good. I love this character so much. I'll just show you. Here's the stats, what I'm running, and also if you ever run decks on this character, don't. Just play a different character. It's just not worth it. Play Shang if you want 6 decks. Other than that, I think Strength is good, but this is probably like the stance to play. If I'm being honest, I'm just so accustomed to playing Strength that I rock with it a lot. So yeah, that's my video on Val, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace, everyone.